Outside the court, now ringed with a security fence, opponents of abortion rights cheered.
Complete and utter joy that it was finally overturned, but the determination, a steely determination that the battle is not over.
Legal abortion on demand! Legal abortion on demand!
For others, it was what they were dreading ever since the court signaled in December it was likely to overturn Roe.
It feels like a betrayal. It feels like the country doesn't love me and appreciate my body as a woman.
The court overturned nearly 50 years of abortion precedents in a ruling that was a first. Never before has the court granted and then taken away a widely recognized constitutional right. The court voted 5-4 to overturn Roe. Chief Justice John Roberts said going that far wasn't necessary to uphold Mississippi's law banning abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The court voted 6-3 to uphold that law. The majority opinion overturning Roe tracked closely with the version that leaked in May, touching off nationwide protest, including at the homes of some of the court's conservatives. Justice Samuel Alito's majority opinion said no right to abortion is protected by any constitutional provision. The Roe decision, he said, was egregiously wrong and deeply damaging.
Like Winston Churchill said, this is the end of the beginning. It's been a 50-year battle to protect unborn children, but we now have those battles in every state. Unlike other court rulings based on a right to privacy, Alito said abortion is different because it involves a potential life. So he said the ruling does not undermine the rights to same-sex marriage or contraception, though Justice Clarence Thomas said the court should take another look at them too. The ruling does not make abortion illegal, but it's no longer a constitutional right, so that leaves the issue up to each state. It's likely to become illegal soon in about half the nation. Some states have already banned it as of tonight. The rest of the banned states are likely to follow in the coming weeks. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, in a controlling concurrence, said states that ban abortion cannot make it a crime for their residents to travel to a state where abortion is legal to get the procedure. In a joint dissent, Justices Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan said the court ruling means that from the very moment of fertilization, a woman has no rights to speak of. They say a state can force her to bring pregnancy to term, even at the steepest personal and family cost.
People are going to be heading to the streets both in the wake of this decision immediately and in the days and months to come, and making clear that the majority of people in the United States support abortion rights.
And Pete is joining us now from outside the Supreme Court. Pete, what's it been like out there today?
Well, this is the biggest crowd I've ever seen outside the Supreme Court after a decision. It's been building steadily all day, people celebrating and mourning the decisions. And while it does return the issue to the states, the dissenters say there's nothing in this ruling that would prevent Congress from banning abortion nationwide if it ever chose to.
Matt, it's great to see you as always, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your evening off. And good evening to you at home tonight on Ayman. Just getting started. The Supreme Court's conservative justice laid the groundwork in their opinions to strip Americans of even more rights. And they're trying to hide that fact from you. I'm going to explain how. Then, the ever-expanding case against Donald Trump. New reporting reveals the ex-president's efforts to overturn the 2020 election are somehow even more involved than we realized. Plus, credit where credit is due. The economy has improved dramatically over the last year. So why is President Biden not getting enough credit for it? I'm Ayman Mohideen. Let's get started. Tonight, we want to give some important context to the Supreme Court's latest rulings this term, because while we can go through the immediate ramifications of those decisions, and it's obviously important and necessary to do that, we also need to start looking to the future. In one sense, to understand how ending our changing policies will affect the fabric of our society, but in another, to look at the unknown. And there's a lot we don't know, because within the court's decisions, there's vague language that will be exploited by conservatives looking to further curtail rights. And there are some actual urgings from Republican-appointed justices to legal activists pushing them to bring up cases that will also further curtail these rights. In effect, in this term and in the last term, the Supreme Court opened Pandora's box. Look at the 303 Creative versus Ellenist decision. The court ruled that a Christian web designer has the right to refuse her services of designing wedding websites to same-sex couples. In the majority opinion, Justice Neil Gorsuch said the web designer has not and will not create expressions that defy any of her religious beliefs for any customer. In other words, her designs are recognized as free speech, and the state of Colorado cannot force her to create a message she doesn't believe in. There's the obvious immediate problem of allowing this woman to discriminate, but there's another big problem here. The word expressions is a vague term, and actually it will be left open to interpretation by other services people offer, meaning any business that engages in quote-unquote expression might be able to legally discriminate against whoever it wants, putting other protected groups at risk. As ACLU Director David Cole told the New York Times, we will live in a world in which any business that has an expressive service can put up a sign that says, women not served, Jews not served, black people not served. And they may do it by claiming a First Amendment right to do so. And then there's the court striking down affirmative action. Similarly, broad language will likely bring about challenges to corporate diversity initiatives and other programs designed to increase multiculturalism and diversity within a company. According to the Washington Post, conservative groups and legal experts say the private sector should get ready for more legal challenges to their diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiatives. And as I said, this trend actually began last year when, while overturning Roe versus Wade, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in a concurring opinion that other precedents have to do with Americans' fundamental privacy and equal protection rights should also be reconsidered, citing the cases that legalize same-sex relationships, same-sex marriage, and access to contraception. These justices have developed a clear and obvious pattern here. They'll do whatever they can in the moment to take away your rights, but they're always